right, during the White House Correspondents Dinner, an Axios reporter slammed the media for covering up Biden's mental decline. Watch.
President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story, and some people trust us less because of it. We bear some responsibility for faith in the media being at such lows.
Joe Concha joins us. You know, Joe, that was rather tepid applause for his honesty, and I didn't hear any apologies.
No, none, Stuart. And I am sick and tired of hearing this from so-called reporters now. They have eyes and ears at last check. They saw what we saw and what we heard out of a president whose brain turned to applesauce some time ago. And this whole victimhood that they were somehow misled by Biden's people and that prevented them from reporting on his mental state accurately. I mean, we got to hear from the likes of, that was Alex Thompson there, saying, well, we should have done a better job. You all knew, going back to the 2020 campaign, Joe Biden had no business being anywhere near the Oval Office as commander-in-chief. None of you reported on this. You purposely lied or engaged in the bias of omission just to keep that man, get him into office for starters, and then to get him reelected was the effort up until that debate on June 27th in Atlanta. I mean, can you imagine Joe Biden as president for the next 4 years? Because I'll bet you 90% of so-called journalists out there wanted that, and that stemmed from their hatred of President Trump. Fortunately, we saw what happened in that debate. Biden was pushed aside, and look, the Democratic Party paid a big price on November 5th as a result of lying to the American people, as long as it did with the media pushing that lie along, Stu.
All right, Joe, let's get to it. You've got a new book out, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. I've read quite a few books about the campaign and the debate. What's in your book that I don't already know?
Well, I had a long conversation with the president, and it gave me 40 minutes for an interview. And a lot of it, Stu, we talked about the first assassination attempt, which, remember, if he doesn't turn his head at that exact moment, we're not talking about a President Trump right now. We're talking about the late Donald Trump. And I asked him, I said, in that moment, when you're on the ground, you know you were shot, there's blood on your face, what compelled you to stand up and yell, fight, fight, fight to the crowd and expose yourself when there could have been a second shooter out there? And he said, you know, I knew my family was watching that rally. I knew especially my young son was watching, and I wanted to let him know, my family know, the country know, the world know that I was okay and nothing is going to stop me from fighting and moving forward. And he also said that there was also a stretcher that was brought to the stage, and he said, no way in hell am I getting on that thing. I am walking off here on my own. So in that moment, Stu, if I were shot, I'd say, get me out of here. I'd keep my head down and my mouth shut. But Trump didn't do that. And that's the first time I've ever heard him share that story before. So besides that interview, we just have a bunch of stuff in there where I have access. I was in the motorcades. I was on the Trump plane. I was backstage at rallies. I had access that these other books simply did not. And as you know, I have a little bit of a sense of humor, so we have some fun telling about the greatest comeback of all time, and this is what that was.
I'm buying it, okay? I don't need a free copy. I'm going to buy it. And you can autograph it for me, make it really valuable. Joe Concha, thank you very much indeed. All good stuff.